You don't lack self-discipline. You lack self-respect. You lack the respect in yourself to tell yourself no when you need to tell yourself no. You lack the ability to hold yourself accountable and be a person of your word, to do exactly what you say that you're going to do every time that you say you're going to do something. You lack the ability to show up for yourself. And when you don't show up for yourself, you are telling yourself subconsciously that you don't respect yourself, that you don't take yourself seriously. Because if you did, you would uphold your life completely differently. You would make sure that you show up for yourself the same way you show up for anything else that you deem respectable or you deem worthy of you showing up for. Even if you don't think about it on a conscious level, on a subconscious level, the body keeps score, the mind keeps score, the subconscious keeps score. It remembers every single time that you have told yourself that you were going to do something and you did not. It knows, it keeps score, it remembers. It has a long memory. And it remembers every single time that you were like, hey, I'm going to wake up early in the morning. I'm going to wake up at 5 in the morning and get started and start doing something new. And you were like sleeping in instead. It remembers that. It remembers every time that you're like, I'm going to start my diet. I'm going to start eating healthier. I got to cut out the junk. I got to stop drinking that alcohol. And you just woke up and ate a bag of chips. You drank a brewski, it remembers, it knows, it keeps score. You're not upholding yourself. You're not upholding your integrity with yourself. And that is a problem because it shows that you do not respect yourself or take yourself seriously. But that can change. That can change because it all really revolves around your identity. It all revolves around how you see yourself. And how you see yourself can be adjusted any moment, at any time. It all starts in here. Now, first things first, let's address the fact that you're not showing up for yourself. I want you to think about your job, right? When you go to work in the morning, when you wake up in the morning, you may not like your job that much. It may not be a job that is fulfilling for you. It may not be a job that you actually really want to do, but it is the job that pays you, which means it is the job that pays your bills. It is determining the effectiveness of your livelihood, right? It's going to determine how good things are going for you in life right now financially. So you show up for work every single day, regardless. You are dedicated, right? You are consistent with showing up to work every single day because you know for a fact that if you don't, you will be punished financially. You ain't going to get paid. You're not going to get what you need to be able to survive if you don't show up for work. I want you to start thinking about your life that way. Think about your existence. Think about your purpose that way. If you don't show up for yourself, it's going to affect your livelihood. It's going to affect your existence. It's going to affect whatever you're able to bring into this world. It's going to affect every facet of your life if you don't start showing up for you. If you don't start looking at yourself as just as important, as just as imperative to take your time and your effort and your energy to make sure that you're consistent with you. Whatever goals, whatever aspirations, whatever dreams that you want to do, you can take that time to be putting into someone else's dream, to someone else's goals, supporting someone else. When are you going to take that time for you? When are you going to put that energy towards yourself? When are you going to help yourself? When are you going to build your dream? You got to start. You got to start looking at yourself differently. You got to start changing your self-image. You got to get out of this paradigm that you are currently in which you feel like you are not worthy of you taking yourself seriously. It all starts in here, right? You gotta realize that you're the only one who can change your life. You're the only one who's in the driver's seat of your life. You're the only one who can give yourself the self-respect to become consistent, to become somebody who is disciplined. Discipline is not something that comes out of thin air. It comes with an identity. It comes with you having this specific identity that you identify with, right? That says, I am a person who does what I say I'm going to do. You have to come up with that identity. And part of that identity is respecting yourself enough to have authority over yourself. To tell yourself no when you need to tell yourself no, or to tell yourself to do the hard thing when you don't even feel like doing it. When you're in a school setting, you have to listen to your professor, right? Your professor is going to dictate that you have this many assignments and they're all due by this time and they got to have this caliber of effort put into it. And if you don't, you're going to get a bad grade. And you listen to that professor. You respect that professor because that professor is in charge of whether or not you pass or fail. You have to start seeing yourself that same exact way. You got to put yourself in the shoes of the professor and be the student at the same time. And you got to have authority over your life to be able to tell yourself, hey, I need to do X, Y, and Z, and I need to do it at this level of effort, or else I'm going to get a bad grade in life. I'm going to fail at life if I don't exercise authority over myself, if I don't look at myself and go, what do I need to do and what do I need to stop doing? I need to change my life. I need to change every aspect of how I see myself, how I view myself. You got to exit this paradigm. How do you exit this paradigm? How do you exit this identity? How do you shift into a new identity and change how you think about yourself? Well, it starts with the phrase, I am. I want you to understand that once you get into the phrase of I am and you recognize how powerful those words are, you recognize just how much you can change your life by changing your identity and how changing your identity develops what the discipline is that you're looking for. You don't lack discipline. You're lacking this identity that you respect enough to have discipline with. That's what you're lacking. You're lacking that identity that you respect enough to be doing everything that you say you need to do. When you become a parent, I'm not a parent right now, but when you become a parent, you might be a person who does not wake up early. You might be a person who does not have patience. But as soon as you develop the identity of being a parent, suddenly you might get the magic power of patience. Suddenly you might get the magic power of being able to wake up early. And why is that? It's because you changed your identity. It's because you no longer see yourself as somebody who has the option of not waking up early. You no longer see yourself as someone who has the option of not having patience or not being patient. You've changed your identity. You have effectively changed the paradigm of how you view yourself. And by doing so, you develop the discipline to be able to wake up early and to develop the discipline of being able to be more patient because of the identity that you've adopted. This applies to so many other facets of your life. It doesn't have to just be through parenthood. It could be through anything. The key here is that you have the ability to change your life and change the way that you want to see yourself. You have the ability to choose to give yourself authority, and authority that you respect. You are able to identify yourself with that identity of authority that you respect by simply using the words I am. I am, I am, I am. They are two of the most powerful words when put together in the world. They affect everything. I don't want you to ever forget that. I want you to always ingrain that in your head. I am, I am, I am. Say it with me. I am, I am, I am. I am a person who goes walking. I am a walker. I'm not disciplined in walking. I'm not disciplined in going to go take my walks. I'm a walker. I'm a person who likes to walk. I am. I'm not disciplined to go to the gym. I am someone who likes going to the gym. I am someone who goes to the gym. I am active. I am fit. I am. I'm not someone who's disciplined with getting off of social media when I need to, getting off my phone and going to sleep when I need to. I'm not disciplined in that. I am someone who turns off my phone when it's time to go to bed. I am someone who goes to bed at a reasonable time frame. I am someone who decides that I'm not going to eat junk food, 5 days out of 7. I am someone who decides that I'm going to wake up. I am an early bird. And just as powerful is the opposite, the I am not. I am not is just as powerful as I am. You are declaring to yourself who you are and who you are not. I am not an alcoholic. I am not an addict. I am not a person who depends on someone else for my happiness. I am not someone who will suffer through any more abuse. I am not someone who deserves to be treated in a bad manner by anybody. I am someone who deserves self-respect. I am someone who deserves to be consistent enough to work on my own goals and work on my dreams and work on my aspirations the same way I do for anybody else. I am, I am, I am. I am not, I am not, I am not. But even I am not starts with I am. These are powerful words that you need to always lock into your head to recognize that your identity forms your patterns. Your patterns, they form your habits. Your habits are what your discipline technically is. Discipline is really just doing the same thing over and over and over again, being consistent with something. And right now, you're disciplined to a lot of bad habits and things that you don't really want to be consistent with, but you are disciplined to it. Whether you want to view it that way or not, you are disciplined to some bad habits. You're disciplined to drinking and smoking. You're disciplined to gambling. You're disciplined to watching a naughty video at night. You're disciplined to texting somebody you ain't supposed to be text. You're disciplined to a lot of behaviors that you don't want to be currently, but that doesn't mean that can't change. Because it's all a part of your identity. It's all a part of who you are in here, who you view yourself as, who you think you are, who you look at yourself to be. You don't got to be anything other than what you want to be. But you got to train your mind. You got to adjust your mind. You got to adjust your mentality. You got to adjust your identity. You don't lack discipline. You lack self-respect. If you respected yourself, you wouldn't allow yourself to do certain things. You would tell yourself no. You would hold yourself accountable. That's how you get consistent. That's how you become disciplined. It's all about who you tell yourself you are. I am a runner. I am active. I am fit. I am someone who cooks my own food. I am someone who is healthy. I am someone who respects themselves. I am, I am, I am. Don't you ever forget that. You are who you say you are. And based on who you say you are, other people are going to treat you as such. If you say I am someone who is valuable and you treat yourself as someone who is valuable, other people will treat you that same way. If you feel as if you are not worthy, other people are going to act like you ain't worthy either. We teach other people how to treat us based on how we treat ourselves. So become disciplined, become consistent, change that identity, change that paradigm, unlock who you want to be. Yo, you ever watch The Karate Kid? I don't care which version. I don't care if it's the old version or the modern version with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. Both stories have a very important lesson that is attached to it when it comes to discipline. And that discipline comes in the form of their training sequences in the beginning. Now, for both of them, I'm going to use both of them as an example. You know, you got Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san, right? Miyagi telling Daniel-san, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. He telling them to do that. You know what I mean? If you look at the other story, you got Mr. Han and Dre, and Mr. Han is telling Dre, throw it on your jacket and pick it back up and hang it up. Put down your jacket, hang it up. Put down your jacket, hang it up. They telling them both, you got to do this. Hey, just do this. Trust me. Just trust the process. Just do this. And of course, any young student who is looking at the sensei, who's looking at the master, they're going to be thinking like, well, why do I need to do this? This doesn't really make much sense. I don't understand, master. I don't understand, sensei. Why do I need to pick up my jacket? Why do I need to wax on, wax off? Are you just getting me to do chores? Why are you telling me to do this? But at the same time, they're like, you know what? Even though I'm questioning it, I trust you as a sensei. I trust you as a master. I trust you enough. I obey your authority. I understand your authority. I'm gonna trust in your word, and I'm gonna do what you're telling me to do. So days go on, wax off. Weeks go on, pick up your jacket. Maybe even months go on, pick up your jacket, wax on, wax off. And at some point, they kind of get a little frustrated because they're like, why am I doing this? What is the point of being consistent? What is the point of this discipline? What am I learning? Am I wasting my time here? So all of a sudden, they got to approach sensei. They got to ask him like, yo, what am I doing here, man? Is this a waste of my time? Are you playing with me? Are you pulling my leg? Then all of a sudden, sparring match, real quick. Wax on, wax off. Oh, all of a sudden, I know Kung Fu. Wax on, wax off. I'm defending. Whoa, where'd that come from? Pick up your jacket. Put it down. I'm blocking. I'm defending. Pick up your jacket. Put it down. All of a sudden, I learned Kung Fu. Now I know. Now I got some prowess. And it's all because I stayed disciplined. But that discipline came from having the idea that I needed to follow the authority of my sensei. I didn't know where my sensei was taking me with this. I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me. I didn't understand that sensei was really teaching me. He was really training me. But I had to listen. I had to have that authority. I had to trust in that authority. I had to respect him enough to think that he wasn't pulling my leg. I had to respect him enough to stick with it and be consistent with it and have that discipline for long enough to see some sort of result. And it was worth it. You can be your own sensei. You can teach yourself your own technique. You know what I'm saying? You can benefit your own life. You can do it to yourself. But you got to be consistent. You got to be disciplined. You got to show up every single day. They were showing up every single day, wax on, wax off. Pick up your jacket, put it down. Every single day, they showing up. They showing up. They showing up. Show up for yourself. Do the small things. It's worth it. But you got to recognize that this only happens when you view yourself as somebody who's worthy enough to be listening to in the first place. This only happens when you respect yourself enough to show up for yourself. You got to change your mind. You got to change your identity. You got to change your paradigm. Become somebody different. Figure out who you want to be and figure out what that person is and how they do stuff and be that person. It's simple. Tell yourself who you are. You're the only person who can tell yourself who you are. So tell yourself who you are. But that's the message that I have for you today. You know what I'm saying? I want you to change your paradigm. I want you to change your identity. I want you to respect yourself so that you can gain that consistency to become somebody who is disciplined. You can do it. I believe in you. I absolutely believe in you. And you know, at the end of the day, I just want to tell you that I thank you for watching and tuning in from the bottom of my heart, because realistically, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that. So much love. I hope to see you in the next one. All right, peace.